retainer walls, and all exterior construction that not only enhances the beauty of your home, but also stands the test of time. Their experienced team takes pride in delivering top-notch craftsmanship with a personal touch. S&R Fencing, locally owned, licensed, and insured, and a member of the BBB.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Anjali.
Hi, it's Jennifer Coolidge. I just got an alert for a strange charge on my card.
No problem. We make sure you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases on your Discover card. Let's see. Did you purchase something from a t-shirt cannon store yesterday?
Absolutely not. No, I already have like 3.
$0 fraud liability guarantee. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. Limitations apply.
It's a bully, but we aren't afraid of a fight. It's elusive, but our focus never fades. It's deadly, but we were born to defeat cancer. You may not have heard of us, but our work has helped millions impacted by cancer. We are the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. We are leaders in advancing breakthroughs in immunotherapy, genomics, and personalized medicine. This research saves lives. After 65 years of fighting blood cancers, we've arrived at a game-changing belief. The cures for cancer are in our blood. The drugs and treatments we've developed for blood cancers have helped people affected by many different types of cancers. We are the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Beating cancer is in our blood. Learn more at LLS.org.
In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the sheep sleep tonight. Oh, in the jungle, the quiet jungle, the sheep sleep tonight. Oh.
It just isn't the same without the lion. Join the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance today. Visit sdzwa.org.
College basketball lives here. WGSX Lynn Haven, WPLQ Port St. Joe, ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the next evolution of sports talk radio. The biggest stories and the biggest reactions.
Now.
And now we're taking
with the first pick.
This is the last ball you got in the bag.
The Inside Drive. From college to the pros, interviews with the newsmakers, sports betting, your phone calls, and more. And now, The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And good Friday morning. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Sitting inside these beautiful Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios. Man, am I glad to be back on the air. I got a lot of thank yous. I got a lot of things to talk about, that's for sure. But we have a lot of things to talk about as well, and that is previewing this NFL divisional weekend. But first off, you're listening live and local on 104.3 in Panama City Beach, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. You can watch us on Facebook, X, and YouTube. Just search ESPN Northwest Florida. And then, of course, last but not least, download that free mobile app inside the Google Play or Apple Store. That one you do need to put a little 104.3 in front of that ESPN Northwest Florida just to make sure you find it quickly. Man, it's good to be back on the air, and like I said, I got a lot of thank yous to give out, and that starts with this guy sitting next to me, Mr. David Hayes, who's always behind the glass here for the Inside Drive, the host of the Afternoon Underdogs, and many of you already know or don't know, we had a little bit of excitement there in the studio on Wednesday when my brain decided to do some funny stuff and have a seizure here live on the air, and thankfully I think you said some listeners kind of noticed it and said, call 911, and then you were able to tell Jay to come over here and make sure I didn't have a big oopsie and fall down and smash my head on this beautiful linoleum tile in here?
Well, actually, what it was I noticed dead air. And I look over and I was like, whoa, what's going on? And that's when it was like, oh, this is real life. And then so I'm like, all right, well, to stop the dead air, I got to talk.
Yep.
And then I'm thinking, well, what in the world is going on? You know what I mean? So then I kind of realized it's really because of what you uttered out of your mouth when I said is this real or whatever? Or I forget it, but yeah. And then Jay rushing over to, so I was actually soliciting 911 calls. And then I'm like, wait, actually, I've got a phone right here.
I can just dial
so,
it.
yeah, exactly. Wow. Yeah. So thankful, not only coaching last night, but you're back today, man.
No, it's
incredible.
So good. It's so good to be back. I've got the overwhelming support from Bay County here and the surrounding areas has been completely overwhelming and just unbelievable. I've heard from so many people. I've heard from people back in New Jersey, Coastal Carolina alum that I went to school with that I haven't talked to in 15, 20 years have been reaching out, and you realize how blessed you really are. When like last night we played our Dynasty flag football game, and just so many people taking the time. There's a food. It's overwhelming the support that we have received here in Bay County and beyond, and for that we are very, very blessed. We have a plan. We're heading up to. I got another Bay County connection. Dr. Ward got on the horn with him late Wednesday, I believe, and he hooked me up with one of the best neurosurgeons that specifically focuses on brain tumors in the South, who lives down here in this neck of the woods. He's actually neighbors of Dr. Ward, and was able to get him connected to me. He called me first thing Thursday morning. We talked through it. He got the scans from the hospital, called me a few hours later, and I've got surgery scheduled for Monday, the 29th. We'll be going up to Northside Hospital in Atlanta, do one more little MRI scan that Sunday before, hopefully the NFC Championship, if the Niners win.
I love you, Ryan.
Win before, if they win to beat the Packers this weekend, hopefully that NFC Championship and that last MRI scan there don't get in the way of each other. If not, maybe I can get them to pipe in the radio call from Greg Papa and those guys. But yeah, so we'll have that scanned one more time, just because the tool, he's got the state-of-the-art stuff, the GPS mapping of your brain and all that. So they got to get a little more information for their computer systems. And then bright and early Monday morning, they'll be cracking the old skull open and hopefully getting all this lime-sized brain tumor out of my head, and we can go from there.
There you go, man.
It's in God's hands. I'm staying positive. The support is unbelievable. And, I'm just, looking back on this whole situation, probably happy that one, the seizure happened here versus driving here or driving home or driving the kids to school, wherever it may be. And two, that the seizure happened. So now I had to get an MRI and find out what's going on in the old noggin. So we stay positive. The support, again, I can't be thankful enough for the support from this community. And, we've only been here for 8 years, and we knew Bay County was going to be home for a long time. Been at Bay Point. My wife's got her real estate company, Beach House Sales and Development. We just love it here in Bay County and couldn't think of a better place to be. And that was made very clearly by all the people that have reached out. And James Hale should know I'm probably on the air. Coach, if you're listening, call us on, or maybe.
It's like, man, someone sounds just like you right now. The same story and all.
Who's your imposter on the air, though? But no, I got it. There's nothing. I've got a brain tumor, but I can function. I'm a little dizzy from the seizure medication, but other than that, we're going along. I'll be doing the radio next week. I'm gonna take obviously a little hiatus there from Bay Point until I can get back up and going. But we got a great team out there, and they'll make sure everything is good to go. We got a lot of big events coming up and all that stuff. We got a prime rib coming up on the 25th. That'll be next Thursday. Of course, our local pass is rocking and rolling, and we did postpone the Emerald Coast Junior Tour because it's going to get a little chilly chilly tonight, and then a little chilly tomorrow night as well. So, but yeah, no, lots of good stuff going on.
One thing I want to interject there real quick. A lot of the times when something negative, not pertaining to this situation, but something negative happens in someone's life, what's that saying? Oh, well, you reap what you sow. Well, in this case, this is you reap what you sow. All of the kindness and everything coming your way is because of what you put out into this world, man. So a lot of us here in this community really appreciate what you do, and it goes beyond what you do at Bay Point, what you do on the radio, on the air, and all of that stuff. But here since May 1st, I've been able to see a side of you that not a lot of people are able to see, and you're a very genuine person. And so definitely thankful for the time that I've been able to meet you and be around you, and the epitome of it is today when it's like, yeah, as long as we can schedule, I mean, it just reminds me of me. Can we schedule that MRI where it doesn't interfere with the NFL playoffs? Like, you push it off till February if we need to.
Yeah, no, exactly. But no, I appreciate that. It's been amazing being here on the radio and getting to know you so well. And, you have your various different families. And, Jay's obviously not with us here today, but he's going to be calling in later on to do his picks. So, but yeah, you guys are my radio family and some of my closest friends. And, without you guys, who knows what would have happened a couple of days ago. So it's just, God is powerful, and he's always in control. But, what you do and how you live your life is very important. And I just have always tried to, treat other people like I want to be treated. Mm-hmm. A lot of things that people come across in their lives, we're upset about stuff. It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You've got your health. Your happiness is a choice. I always say when you wake up in the morning, attitude is a choice. I've always preached that with my employees and my teams and stuff like that. You choose when you wake up. You can either be mad or you can be happy, regardless of the external situations that aren't in your control. And that's one thing I've always really preached. And I appreciate the full circleness that's coming back. It's been pretty overwhelming, and I'm ready. I hate losing. Whether it's my teams, whether it's the youth teams, whether it's myself playing, whatever it may be. And we're going to get this thing taken out and kick its ass, and whatever's on the docket after that, I'm ready for. And we will take care of whatever it is, because that's just how it's got to be.
Yes, sir.
That's how it's got to be. So, but yeah, a little dynasty flag football last night.
Yeah.
It felt like literally forever since we played a football game, as we I think it was December 16th was our last regular season game, when we were taken down by the Patriots on that Saturday game pretty handedly, but got back into the swing of things last night with a nice little 26-0 victory over the Dynamite, and they played good last night. They played good, and you did an amazing job rotating. I mean, we've got 14 kids on our team. It is a big group of kids, and we did a great job of rotating a lot of those kids in, and saw some good plays from of our role players. They did wonderful, but especially proud of Liam. Obviously, a lot of stuff on his mind, trying to figure out what's going on, and got to see him yesterday when he came home, and it was just nice to see him, because I hadn't seen them since Wednesday, and he was slinging the rock good yesterday. And he's starting now. We've been working so hard on throwing your receivers open. Throw your receivers open, and it's going to pay off. And he did a great job of that last night. And the kids were catching good footballs and running well. And we even, Elizabeth had a flag pull. Christian had a flag pull. Seth had a pick six. John Andrew had a couple. It was just, everybody played really well last night. And it was actually a pretty nice night out there, and a lot of fun. So a couple more regular season games, and then we'll be on to the playoffs.
2 more of them. We went from having a month and a half
with no games to a week with 3.
3 of them. There you go. But I think that's very good for us, and for the rest of the teams too, heading here into the playoffs, because we'll get the best of the best.
Yes, I put in a request with the league, and I understand if they can't honor it, but I'm hopeful to be back after the brain surgery on that Wednesday of not next week, but the week after. And even if I can just be there sitting in a chair or something on the sideline, I'm hoping that maybe that first game will be that Thursday. But again, it is what it is, and I'm always going to ask for some concessions.
So the biggest game possibly of our season
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Hey, all I need is a chair and a call sheet.
There we go, man. We will run through a brick wall for you, Coach.
Exactly. We'll have some fun. But yeah, I think we kind of left off on Wednesday talking about the get-in ticket prices and all that stuff. And I know the Detroit game was definitely the most expensive one to get into. But when we get Keith Fleming will be joining us on the line here at 11:20, and we'll be talking a lot about. I don't know if he wants to talk about last week's or not, or just preview this week's, and he'll be giving us another DFS update of some of the big lineups, because this is it's not the last weekend, but you've got 4 games. You got 8 teams left? No, 8 teams left.
Yeah,
8 teams left. Seems like a lot. You got 8 teams left, so you still got a good opportunity for DFS. And I agree with Keith. I think when you get down to this weekend, I think it becomes a little easier in some of these cash games if you go those smaller entries. There's only so many people you can pick from, so it makes that opportunity, I think, maybe just a little bit easier to win some cash in that one. But yeah, looking forward to talking to him. We'll get into our picks with you. We only got 4 NFL games to pick, and we added in 2 NCAA basketball games.
Oh, nice.
2 hockey games and 2 NBA games.
There we go.
And you were saying last night you were watching a little NBA action, and you were pretty entertained by that action.
Yeah, and so I actually watched the rest of the Minnesota Wild and the Tampa Bay Lightning last night, and the Lightning power play was just absolutely clicking last night. Kucherov having himself a heck of a season. But yeah, then so I see the Pacers and the Kings are going to be playing at 9 o'clock. Both of them had identical records, and to be completely honest with you, I was like, well, I want to tune into this game and see, because I haven't watched a lot of basketball to this point. Yeah. But I wanted to see how Pascal Siakam, in that new trade, how he looked with the Pacers, and he didn't end up even playing. So I was still let me watch this game. Domantas Sabonis playing over there with the Kings. That'll be the first time that I've watched them play against each other. And I have been critical of basketball to this point in the season. Not critical of it. It's just when I watch it these days, it doesn't feel as what it did. But I gotta say that last night, maybe it was because the bias of watching my own team. I don't know what it was, but the game was very entertaining to me last night. And I kind of just learned, like, all right, yes, so defenders aren't as defensive as what they were, but that's just because of the way that the game is called. So we had when the Astros came out with their cheating scandal, or when that all blew up. We had a guy named Ryan Spader on the line talking with us about everything. And one of the things that he left us with was just enjoy the game. So last night I'm sitting there thinking about that while I'm watching the game, and it's just like, just enjoy this. These guys are uber athletic. I don't know if anyone got to see that Anthony Edwards play.
I was literally No, you're good.
I won't go into it, but just,
we only got a few minutes.
Just how entertaining the game is. Man. And if you can get past the fact, all right, well, defense isn't the same. Well, look at all of our sports and how they have evolved. Like, would you ever in a million years think that baseball would have a pitch clock up there, you know? But was it good for the game?
Absolutely.
Yes.
It was good for the entertainment of the game.
And the entertainment of the game. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So last night was one of those things where, and I've watched a tip of the iceberg amount of college basketball. I'll start getting into that. Here we are in conference play and all of that good stuff. But yeah, I was entertained last night in that Pacers Kings game.
Yeah, no, I was going to mention that Anthony Edwards. I mean, he put on a show last night for the Timberwolves, and I'm sure you saw that one where he hit him with the pump fake and then stepped and then threw it off the backboard and dunked it. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of defense played by the underneath guys, but still just basketball. It seems like it's in a pretty exciting place.
I mean, I don't care where you are playing. Now, maybe the next time that you're guarding Anthony Edwards down there, but when you sit there, you pump fake, then you lean to the right.
Yeah.
And then, it seems like, you're going to kind of go in, and then all of a sudden the ball's flying off the backboard and Ant-Man is just flying through the air. I don't know how you stop that. I don't know if you want to stop that, as long as you ain't getting posterized.
There was a lot of posterization last night. I had some time this morning to watch a little bit of SportsCenter, which I don't normally get an opportunity to do. But yeah, it's just these guys are insane athletes out there on the court, and what they were make happen was pretty impressive. That's for sure. But yeah, and I think Wemby did that not too long ago.
Yeah, I think he did.
But I mean, he's like 7'6".
It's a little different, but it's still entertaining. It's one of those things when you're watching 7-footers and beyond when they're dunking. It's like, is that really that impressive, bro? Like, you don't even got to jump.
Yep. Yeah, it's like playing in your room. You got the old Nerf basketball hoop hang up there. You're putting it between your legs. legs and dunking it and all that stuff.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
Anthony Edwards he's 6'4". I mean, he's a foot shorter than Wemby, that's for sure. So, but yeah, a lot of good NBA action, a lot of good NHL action. I was hoping the Devils would get it done a couple nights ago against Les Habitants, 3-2 in that one. I was watching a little bit there in the old hospital room, and it was disappointing, but all good. They're getting some better play coming out of Nico Dawes, so I feel like he's going to be one of a guy with us for a while. Now that we sent back Schneider.
Yeah. That's a sport for me over and over again. I just don't understand how it's not the most popular sport in America. The more I watch it, and yes, it helps when you go to a game and then you learn the game and all of that good stuff. But I mean, yes, fighting, tip of the iceberg though with that, the skill, the finesse, the defense, like everything that you want out of all of these sports, it is embodied in the sport of hockey, and I just wish people would kind of tune into that.
Yes, it certainly is. And I think it gets overshadowed down here, obviously, because of college football. And, even NFL is not that big in this neck of the woods, but still the number one sport in the country by any way, shape, or form there. But yeah, now NHL is, if you understand it and you can get into it, it's certainly a lot of fun to watch, especially when your team's pretty darn good.
Yeah, that does help.
Your Lightning and a lot of friends that are Bruins fans, and
they just continue to roll.
I think it was somebody. It might have been one of the nurses. I forget who it was, but she was a Boston Bruins fan.
Really?
And I was like, oh, must be nice. Must be nice, because they had just beat us, I think, Monday night, or Labor Day, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. It was a little matinee game. Had forgot it was on. I think they won that one 3-0. But if we remember last year, the Bruins were the number one seed in the East, and then got up 3-0 on the Florida Panthers and ended up losing the series.
Which you could make the argument that would maybe lose yourself momentum going into the season, but it seems like they've gained some steam.
And they've got some different players, too, and some different keepers. But yeah. We see there's a phone call coming in. David's going to walk there behind the glass and snag that real quick and see who we got on the line. But yes, we're going to break down a lot of the divisional games this weekend. A lot of stuff going on. Haven't had a chance to talk about it, but obviously Mike McCarthy is staying with the Dallas Cowboys. I know that might be some shock to some because, they got ousted so dominantly by the Green Bay Packers there in that wild card round. But at the same time, Mike McCarthy's won 12 games the last 3 seasons, which is pretty darn impressive. And also, who else are you going to get? I know Belichick was involved, Vrabel was involved, but like I was talking to David before the show, it takes a very special person to be able to coach under Jerry Jones. He is an over-the-shoulder, always in your business. Micromanaging is the word I was looking for there. It's kind of the Jerry Jones show, and Mike McCarthy seems to live in that a little bit. And so I think that's why he's still there. There's no reason to fire Mike McCarthy, that's for sure, especially with how good of a job he's done. They definitely have a championship caliber team. It's just some of these teams, when they get to those big moments, don't shine as much. And I think that's one of the big questions. Again, we'll talk about it a little bit here coming up. Is Lamar Jackson going to get over that playoff hump? He's never been to the AFC Championship. I think he's 1-3 in the playoffs in his career. And he's got a big test coming up against those feisty Houston Texans. Between the Texans and the Packers, they sure are making these NFL playoffs interesting. We'll talk a little bit more about that. We'll have Keith Fleming with us coming up here in the next break. So glad to be back on the air, listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Start your morning with sports updates, interviews, reactions, lively discussions, insights, and expert analysis.
I think in our lifetime, we will never see another undefeated team.
Join Evan, Canty, and Michelle weekday mornings from 5 to 7.
It will never happen again.
On the Sports Talk Monster.
If anyone deserves the benefit of the doubt for one last chance, it's Bill Belichick.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Friday. Partly cloudy this afternoon and evening with a moderate breeze out of the north at 14 miles per hour and temps near 59. We will have partly cloudy skies and a wind speed of 14 miles per hour tonight and be right below freezing at 31. And sunny tomorrow and a high 46. Mostly sunshine Sunday with a temp of 48. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GEAR for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code GEAR for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code GEAR.
We're starting fresh.
Fresh new start.
Locally sourced, Farm to Radio. The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is live and local. From the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hey, and welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. One more time, thank you for all the support here in Bay County and beyond. Up in New Jersey, my Coastal Carolina alum community, all the people watching live on Facebook today and listening all around the area on 104.3 or 101.9. Again, I cannot thank everybody enough for the support that they have given me and my family here in Bay County. Just love for everybody. And just wanted to get back here on the radio show and get back to normal business, that's for sure. And speaking of normal business, we've got him on the air. That is Keith Fleming. I was so close to getting you on the air on Wednesday, Keith, but didn't quite make it there. So I appreciate you jumping on with us today, and hope you're doing well.
I'm doing great, man. I just want to say you are a freaking warrior for being back in the studio today. I was going to mess with you when I thought it was just a seizure, that it was because you wore that stupid hat on Wednesday.
You're not the only person that said that. No, it's fair. It's fair. I'm used to that. I can handle that kind of stuff. But like I told the other people, and you can ask David, I've worn that hat many a time because it is the warmest hat I have down here in Florida.
I believe that.
And
it definitely looks warm.
It's extremely warm, and we play a lot of very cold youth flag football games, and that hat keeps my noggin very, very cool there. But yes. But again,
I can just picture you saying crapper's full.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes.
On the sideline.
Yes. Well, and ironically, we did that whole skit many, many years ago, not with that Niners hat, but with one that was very similar. And Beth picked out all our outfits and did a fantastic job. And even Liam's shirt said the actual stuff on it with the picture of the RV and the hose. So good times always had by everyone there.
Can I real quickly, though, say, our boy Jay, man, you know I love him. I've been friends with Jay for a long time, but you have a seizure, find out you have a tumor in your brain, you're back to work 3 days later. No, Jay. So, come on, Jay. Do better.
Yeah, I got to give him some kudos, though, because if he wasn't in here making sure I didn't just totally eat it.
Him and David, both.
No, they're huge.
I talked to David on the show Wednesday afternoon and just really was remarkable how calm and just ready and active he was in what was a very scary situation. Because I would have been shocked. I would love to say I would have done the same thing David did, but David reacted immediately and just, lucky to have such a great family there at ESPN Northwest Florida.
Oh, without any doubt. These two guys that are usually here with me are, two of my bestest friends, and I'm so thankful that they were here when all that went down. So just excited to be back in the studio and back to normal. And we'll be back to normal in a little while. That's for sure. We'll be ready to go. But
damn right,
we got a huge weekend coming up, right? It's one of the, I don't want to say it's one of the last few good NFL daily fantasy opportunities, but once it gets to the championship weekend, it starts getting narrowing down that playing field just a little bit.
You're right. It is. It's the last really good opportunity because, I mean, come on, with just 4 teams to select from. We're obviously doing captains line or showdown lineups. Super Bowl, it's really difficult, especially like, and we'll talk about this in the next couple of weeks, but you want to do super small slates for those contests. This is the last one where I feel like with 8 teams, there's enough disparity. Again, I wouldn't recommend doing anything with more than like 1,000 contestants in it, but you can at least vary your lineups enough to where you can have a really good payday. And this may be a little bit of a hot take, because I know everybody says like the Super Bowl and the conference championship, weekend is like the greatest football weekend of the year. I think it's this weekend where you get, arguably the 8 best teams in football, 4 divisional round matchups, football Saturday and Sunday. I absolutely love the divisional round. It's my favorite weekend of the year for football.
Well, and especially this year, I mean, you've got some teams that, let's be honest, people did not expect to still be playing, and I think it's fair to say that's both the Packers and the Texans. Obviously the Packers.
And the Bucks, to be fair. We didn't think there was going to be NFC South or AFC South
thought
team
they would
still
be
alive.
balanced, that's for sure. I mean, Chiefs-Bills, kind of predictable, especially with how hot the Bills have been, and the Chiefs are just always there. Lions on one of those magical seasons. And I heard on the Dan Patrick show when I was driving in that they had a guy call in from Michigan, and if you're a Michigan fan and a Detroit Lions fan, I mean, you have had a unbelievable last 3 weeks. There is no doubt about it.
As long as you don't check on the Detroit Pistons box scores every night. So.
Did you? Yeah, it's all right. You just put that one on the old back burner.
You can't have it all.
You can. I mean, nobody. Yeah, you can never have it all. You can't be too spoiled. I told David I was watching SportsCenter earlier this morning when I was doing some teledoc stuff, and the guys on his own team were laughing. I forget who it was shooting free throws, and he was airballing it. Oh. And the guys on his own bench were laughing at him. So I guess the Pistons are embracing the basement of the NBA.
They're still getting
Embrace
paid,
the stink.
Right? Their coach is getting $80 million, $20 million a year for his team to have won like 4 games in 40. So it's good to be Monty Williams.
Yeah, there you go. What do you want to start with, Keith? You want to do some DFS? You just want to start talking about these playoff games? Whatever you want to do first, we'll go with it.
You got it. I think that this weekend you definitely need to, again, we talked about this last week, target the games that you expect the most points to be scored. Therefore, like particularly with the lower price guys, if you feel like you want to play Josh Allen, because I do think there's, both for him and Lamar, this could be like we're going to solidify, we are the next big thing in football, right? Because neither one of them have really got it done in the playoffs. I know Allen's won a few playoff games, but he's never got over the Chiefs. Lamar has only won 1 playoff game. But overall, I'm looking at that Bucs-Lions game. It's 2 of arguably the worst pass defenses in the NFL. Your 49ers are the other team that I'm really looking at. That's the second game is 49ers-Packers. The Packers are by far the worst defense left of the 8. And something that Joe Matz, my co-host on both Thursday and Friday nights on Fantasy Six Packs and Fantasy and Frames, looks at is DVOA, and it's adjusted with who you play. The Packers are 26 overall in defense, DVOA. No other team is worse than 16th, and that's the Texans, who are the second worst, and then the rest of the teams are all top 12. So you want to look at, to me, 49ers players, Bucks, Lions, and then sprinkle in some values that we can get into. But I'm just going to start with that. My number 1 stack this weekend is Baker Mayfield with Mike Evans. The Lions secondary is really bad. We saw it again last week. They won that game because their defense stood up in the red zone, and Jared Goff had a great game. Their offense did, obviously. But, Stafford still threw for like 350 yards. Nick Mullins threw for almost 900 yards in the last month versus this team. Since their bye in Week 9, 8 of 10 QBs facing the Lions on DraftKings have scored 23.5 points or more. In that 10-game stretch, 23.62 points. They've faced, again, Mullins twice, Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, so not a murderer's row of players. And then Baker's playing really well. 300-plus yards, 3 of 5, 19 points or more in 9 of his last 12 on DK, multiple passing touchdowns in 5 of 6. I mentioned him last week, but, stayed away from him because I was worried he was injured. And then he went out and looked as good throwing the football as I've seen him. And I can't tell you when, granted, versus just an atrocious Eagles defense. But still, this Lions defense ain't much better. And what I love is him at 6K. You compare him with Mike Evans, and I think people might be a little leery of playing this week after last week. But just a reminder, he still ended up with 3 catches for 48 yards. He dropped a 60-yard touchdown pass, so that right there would have been a 15-point play when he goes over 100 yards, the touchdown and everything. And these two teams met earlier in the season, and he saw 10 targets. So those are the first 2 guys that I'm looking hard at. If you want to look for other Buck players, Trey Palmer could be a good case. The Lions play man at one of the highest rates in the league. Mike Evans, again, is one of the best top 10 receivers in the league in yards per route run versus man defenses. But Trey Palmer is also very good to where Godwin is really more of a zone guy. If you want to look at Cade Otton, who's coming off a huge game. And then on the other side, again, the Bucks passing D ain't good either, so I'm looking at St. Brown and Josh Reynolds, who's a real value at 3,700.
Yeah, Josh, the rest of my lineups were not great last weekend, but Josh Reynolds was a small shining light in that, as he seemed to get the bulk of the additional targets besides Sam Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown, and more so than Jameson Williams, it seemed like. And I would think that would continue into this matchup against the Bucs.
Well, Williams just has not had a big game. Like, he scored roughly 8 to 12 points seemingly every week. And Reynolds, on the other hand, he's now had 6 games this year with 12-plus points on DK. And I just think that, especially in a game like this, where you're going to see that, again, the Bucs secondary is not great, Goff is probably going to look to those receivers he's been with longer. Reynolds has been with the team longer. Remember, Williams missed all of last year, missed 6 games this year for the betting deal. So I just really like that. And I'm still worried about Laporta. It's a great matchup, but even though he played last week and he had an impact, he just, to me, doesn't look healthy. I am a little worried about Goff, who was somebody that if you're thinking maybe you want to go Goff as your QB, he's only a few hundred more than Baker, who, by the way, is the cheapest quarterback on this slate with arguably the best matchup. The Bucs blitz in a top 10 as much as any team in the NFL, and one bugaboo for Jared Goff in his career, other than not playing indoors at home, which we know he's there this week, is he does struggle sometimes with the blitz. And but he did earlier this year in Tampa just torch this Tampa defense for 353 yards, 2 scores, scored 25.4 points. So, again, I'm looking at this game, though, for the most players. That'll be like my game stack, where I probably have at least 3 to 4 players from that one game. I do, though, again, want to just mention your Niners. I think this is a CMC game. That's the only reason I'm a little leery of Brock Purdy. We ranked our top 5 players at each position with their price on DraftKings last night on DFS Kickoff Show, which you can check out on Fantasy Six Pack. Joe had Brock Purdy second. I did not have him top 5. He would have been 6, only because I think CMC is going to have a monster game. His last 2 games where he's had a bye or a week rest coming into it, 48 touches, 313 yards, and 5 touchdowns. I think him and Josh Allen are the 2 safest plays in this slate, but they're also, like, Allen's the most expensive quarterback at $8K. CMC is the most expensive player on the slate by $600. So I understand if you're leery about using him, but the other guy I really like is George Kittle. Yeah. With the Niners receivers, it's been a deal all year where they're playing a team that runs mostly zone. Debo's the guy. If they're playing a team that runs mostly man or a lot of man, Brandon Ayuk's the guy. The Packers are one of those weird teams that they're 17th in both. So they really mix it up. And Kittle, should just absolutely torch this defense. I think he's a real value at 5,200. When you don't consider him a tight end, maybe put him at the flex. Play another one of your tight ends. He's had 5 games this year on DK of 22-plus points. And this Green Bay defense, just in the last 4 weeks, has had real issues with tight ends. We know Ferguson had 10 catches for 93 yards, 3 touchdowns last week. Overall, tight ends had 11 for 100. But also, versus the Vikings. Two guys you never heard of, Johnny Munt and Josh Oliver, combined for 6 receptions for 70 yards and a touchdown. And then even more shocking, the Panthers tight ends, which, can you name them? I can't, Ryan. They combined for 7 catches for 80 yards versus this Packers defense. I think it's a real weakness. We know Shanahan is one of the best game planners in the NFL, and he does what, like, usually the first 10 to 20 plays are scripted. Isn't that right, Ryan?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And he's gonna be putting the plays in to move the guys around to expose that Packers defense that you're talking about, especially when it comes to tight ends. I mean,
so I think Kittle will get off to a very fast start. Like, I would not be surprised if in like the first Niners drive or two, he has 3-4 catches for 60 yards. If he has a touchdown, he's already worth his price. I think that he's a real value at 5,200 because Debo's 77 and Ayuk is 6,700, and it's sometimes hard to gauge which one of those receivers you want. Again, we've used the cheat of, do they run more man, do they run more zone? And the Packers are one of those rare teams that it's like right down the middle on both.
Yep. And the misconception that I don't know who was putting out there, it was some analyst or some talking head that said Brock Purdy, when blitzed, is just not good. Well, the statistics do not add up to that. He has the highest completion percentage in the league, if I'm saying this off the top of my head correctly, when blitzed. So when they blitz and they pull...
Most yards per attempt, most yards per completion, like, it's ridiculous. That's a terrible take.
Especially if they start blitzing linebackers and stuff like that, that's when you really see a lot of these motions to those crossing routes with Kittle and Debo and those guys that, it's a 6-7 yard pass, but there's nobody there, so they get another, 20 yards after that catch. And just the key to this game for the Niners is getting going, getting that ball moving, getting out of that, third and long, which they're not terrible in, but, when they get ahead of the sticks early, that opens up the playbook for Shanahan, and that's going to be the key to the Niners, because the defense is going to do what they need to do. And the good thing about the Niners defense, not to break into this game too much, but they get a lot of pressure with the 4-man rush. Eric Armstead has not played in 6 or 7 weeks. He's been
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, he's a full participant in practice this week. Eric Armstead is one of our best run defenders, and we have not had him for quite some time. That's going to open up more for Bosa, open up more for Chase Young, open up more for those guys, and we can get pressure with just 4 and stop the run with just 4 and let Greenlaw's a little questionable, but Fred Warner is he is probably the best cover linebacker in the league, and if you can drop him in, we can get a nickel back in there, and I just think with Eric Armstead back, that's going to be a huge thing for the Niners defense. And I personally believe that the Cowboys defense compared to the Niners defense is apples to oranges.
Well, especially again, from a scheme standpoint and stuff as well, as we saw that, LaFleur honestly, it's one of the rare cases you can say they got outcoached. Like, the Cowboys got absolutely outcoached. I don't believe that will happen, obviously, with San Francisco. You brought it up before that maybe there's some concerns about clock management and some decisions late in the game.
Yeah.
But when it comes to a game plan of how to, best attack offenses and defenses, they're as good as anybody in the league for sure. So I do like Purdy. I will say, too, though, that Josh Allen, despite being 8K, if you're not going with Baker, if you're not going with Brock, I do think there's a lot of value in playing Allen as your QB, despite, again, that he's 8K, and it's his success in the playoffs to start off. I mean, he's had 16 touchdowns total in his 5 playoff games. He's eclipsed 300 yards in 3 of the 5 games. He's had 4 touchdowns or more in 3 of the 5 games. And this Kansas City Chiefs defense, 26 in the NFL in rushing yards allowed to quarterbacks. And in case you're wondering, Josh Allen is running more than ever. In the last 3 games, he's run for over 150 yards. It's by far the most rushing yards he's had in a 3-game slate. And what I love about it is even with Allen being expensive, you can pair him with Shakir, who is 3,800, and the Chiefs are one of the best defense in the league versus wide receivers overall. They're one of the best defense in the league versus number 1 and number 3 wide receivers. But with Gabe Davis out, number 2 wide receivers actually average more yards per game versus the Kansas City Chiefs than number 1 wide receivers. And when it comes to just their ranking, they are 26 versus number 2 receivers. So you get Shakir at a value at 3,800. Definitely stay away from Diggs. Snead is the real deal. And then you can pair him also with Kincaid, who's only 4,800. And in the last 3 games, he's only seen 3 less targets than Stephon Diggs, 4 less receptions. He actually has more yards and scored considerably more points on DraftKings than Diggs. And so when you use that triple stack, it's only about 35% of your lineup. And if you're like me, just think this is going to kind of be Josh Allen's coronation, if you will, and kind of finally getting over that hurdle of beating the Kansas Chiefs. Yeah, like I think that's a good play.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, Keith, we'll go ahead and take a quick break, and then we'll jump right back into it. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
You're home for the NFL. ESPN Northwest Florida.
The NFL playoffs continue this weekend. Saturday, it's the Houston Texans versus the Baltimore Ravens. Kickoff at 3:30. Followed by the Green Bay Packers versus the San Francisco 49ers at 7:15. Then, Sunday, your Tampa Bay Buccaneers travel to Detroit. Kickoff at 2. Plus, Sunday Night Football. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills square off in the AFC Divisional. It's all right here on your home for the NFL on the Gulf Coast. ESPN Northwest Florida. Golf is a game that should be fun. But to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Dothan and Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
Hi folks, it's Tracy with Tracy's Fine Jewelry and Coin and Bullion Reserves. Did you know that we do more than just sell some of the finest jewelry in town? We can engrave on your wedding band, locket, Yeti cup, or almost anything. Need your watch battery changed? We can do that too. Our expert will even evaluate your coin collection. And of course, we always pay top dollar for your old gold and silver jewelry. See, there's a lot more to Tracy's Fine Jewelry than a lot of pretty sparkly things. Come and see us today at Tracy's Fine Jewelry.
Attention homeowners, are you dreaming of a backyard oasis? Look no further than S&R Fencing, your go-to destination for quality outdoor transformations. At S&R, they specialize in crafting custom fences, decks, retainer walls, and all exterior construction that not only enhances the beauty of your home, but also stands the test of time. Their experienced team takes pride in delivering top-notch craftsmanship with a personal touch. S&R Fencing, locally owned, licensed, and insured, and a member of the BBB.
Call me old-fashioned, but back in my day, college football players actually wanted to play bowl games.
You're playing the biggest game for the university that you played with for 4, potentially 5 years, and then, finish it out.
It's your school. Where does the loyalty and the pride go?
You're inside the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoors Studios with Ryan Mulvey and Jay Henley on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Keith Fleming on the line, breaking down some of these divisional round games and some of his DraftKings picks. But you can go find all the pertinent information, the details. Where can they find that, Keith?
That is at Keith Fleming, KeithFleming, on Twitter. And right now, you have until 9:30 tonight. If you will follow me, you'll see a post on my page where I am giving away some auto cards. There's some jerseys and stuff. We're going to have 3 winners because we actually had so many people end up following me. I've been doing it every 100 that we went up 300 in the last week. That we're going to have 3 winners. All you have to do is comment with a number 1 to 2,000, and you have a chance to win some cool stuff. So be sure to check that out if you like free things.
He did was quite the pack. Oh, David's running around a little bit. We just had Jim Brandt stop by as well in the studio, which I appreciate. And I think my mic wasn't on yet. But some of those giveaways you do there on Twitter are pretty special. You're giving away some pretty cool stuff worth a lot of value.
All right.
Either one. Grab a seat there. Coach Brandt in the house. I haven't been on the radio with you in quite some time.
No, you sure haven't.
Usually on that old Coach James Hale show.
That's right.
But yeah, we're talking a little. We got Keith Fleming on the line. He's a big-time DFS guy.
I thought I was a stat guy. Holy smokes!
Oh yeah, Keith Fleming knows his stuff. That's for sure, and it pays off because he wins a lot of money playing this DraftKings stuff. But we're about to jump into the Ravens Texans games a little bit and see some of the picks that he likes in that one. Yeah, I mean the Texans is just an unbelievable story this year.
Yeah, they are. I'm not necessarily a Texans fan per se, but I'm a C.J. Stroud fan for sure.
Absolutely.
And, they whooped up on the Browns, completely outcoached.
And you're a Browns guy.
Yeah, and they completely outcoached him. The thing about C.J. Stroud, the moment's not going to be too big for him.
Never.
He's not overwhelmed at all.
Nope.
Not even in the first little bit. He's special. That's the way, in my opinion, Justin Fields could be if you had a real team around him. But that's another story.
Yeah, that's another story for another day. But yes. Hey, Keith, what are some of the picks you like from this game coming up? That's the first game kicking off the divisional round slate this weekend. I believe 3:30 Central Time Zone, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I would love actually to see the Texans win because this, it's been an incredible story. C.J. Stroud, I think he's arguably the greatest rookie QB in the history of the game. When you look what he's done year one, kind of behind a shaky offensive line. I mean, I know Nico Collins has been a breakout guy, but it's not like they had a lot of studs around him. I just think it's a really good coaching staff. They do a good job of scheming up good plays, and then he's just such a good thrower of the football. I mean, some of the touch.
With a rookie head coach, too.
Yeah, D'Amico Ryan's unbelievable. When they run that play action and he bootlegs out, you're like, all right, somebody's open, and he throws the ball so effortlessly, and it just explodes out of his arm.
It's so high,
ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
He's going to be special.
I do worry though that the story of the Texans is going to end kind of bad because I think people are forgetting because the Ravens didn't play their guys week 18. Obviously, they had a bye. This has been the best team in football all season. I mean, you could really look at they could have won every single game this year, including week 18 versus the Steelers when they didn't play most of their starters, including Lamar Jackson. I just think it's going to be difficult. The one thing that I am very interested to see from C.J. Stroud is how does he handle the Ravens who blitz as much as any team in the NFL? And unlike the Browns, it's not vanilla blitzes where you kind of know where it's coming from. The Ravens blitz from everywhere, and they really change it up. I think they're going to give him a lot of different looks. They've obviously had a full week to prepare. And again, I just think that with Lamar Jackson being unleashed with Todd Monken, this Texans defense, despite being, they've been a good story, but if you're looking at DVOA, they're 16th. That is the second worst of the teams remaining in the playoffs. And I just feel like Lamar with Todd Monken is on another level. They've really unleashed him, which, I've spoke about was frustrating that they didn't do this before, year 6 of Lamar in the league. And because of that, I really like, obviously, Isaiah Likely. Andrews was brought back from IR, but they don't think he's going to play this week.
I was
Probably
just
will
reading
be available
about
next
it.
week, which is great.
Yeah.
But it's a real opportunity for Isaiah Likely, who has been obviously a great play in DFS week after week. And the Texans are just arguably the worst team in the NFL covering tight ends. If you listen to me on the show, you know that they give up over 9 targets per game, over 6.5 receptions. Last week, the Browns receivers combined for 11 catches for 150 yards on 17 targets. I truly believe that obviously they're going to make Likely a focal point in their passing game. He's kind of the only receiver I truly trust for DFS purposes this week because he has such a great matchup. And then the other guys I'm looking from this game are both running backs for the Ravens, because I think, again, the Ravens are going to be up. And when they lost Keaton Mitchell, it became a real opportunity for DFS, for fantasy, for Gus Edwards, who, despite being, outside the top 40 and opportunity share and total rushes and all these things, 13 rushing touchdowns. He's had 15 attempts on the goal line, the most in the NFL. If they get the ball on the 1 yard line, they're going to give it to Gus. He's only 5,700. And, I think that there's real value in him and Justice Hill. The guy that I came around on that eventually I was fading is Nico Collins, because, he really is, at this point, unfortunately because of the Tank Dell injury, the only wide receiver that, the Texans have. But we know now Marlon Humphreys is out, which is very similar to last week where the Browns with Denzel Ward, right? And I just can't, in good conscience, not include Collins when he has just been such a monster basically since the Tank Dell injury. There's been 6 games. In those 6, 43 targets, 36 receptions, almost 100 yards per game, averaging over 21 points per game on DK. That includes the game versus the Jets where he had 1 target, 1 catch, and scored 2.4 points. So he's had 2 games in that stretch of 37-plus points on DK, 3 of 22-plus. And, last week versus a good defense in the Browns, they still found a way for him to catch 6 passes on 7 targets for 96 yards and a touchdown. I'm trying to go back and forth on whether I want St. Brown in my cash lineups or Collins. And the more I'm thinking about, the more I'm leaning to Collins, because he's $1,100 cheaper, and it gives you so much more flexibility in the rest of your lineup. And I am going to have in every lineup CMC and Mike Evans for sure.
Yeah, there you go. It's going to be a fun matchup, that's for sure. And obviously Humphreys being out, but don't forget, you still got, what's his name? Is it Kyle Williams that's back there? Or what's the name of the safety that just is
Hamilton.
Hamilton, sorry.
Hamilton,
Kyle Williams was a receiver, I think, for the Niners. Kyle Hamilton, he's a stud back there. And but again, do you think, I'll ask both of you guys this, do you think with the amount of blitzing that the Ravens particularly do we think we're going to see C.J. Stroud use his legs a little more than he's had to, or do you think he'll continue to pass out of the pocket like he's been doing the last few weeks?
That's like the $64,000 question. He's definitely capable.
Yeah.
I tell you what. As a Browns fan, a lifetime Browns fan, I expected the game to be better than it was the first time because Stroud didn't play the first time. I thought it would be a good game, but they profoundly outcoached the Browns. The Browns had Denzel Ward back, and you'd never know he even played because they just completely went away from him.
Yeah.
And they just took advantage of Martin Emerson and Greg Newsome and Ronnie Hickman and all those guys that they couldn't cover my grandma. Yeah. They were pitiful. And they knew that these are the guys we need to go after. So maybe that'll happen again. But Baltimore is a little bit more sound, I think, than the Browns were just because of injuries and stuff. But it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, and I don't know if anybody would have thought they saw this one coming. But and like you're saying, but besides Tank Dell, it's not like they're loaded with offensive weapons. Nope. Singletary is their running back. He's good, but he's right. Nothing too spectacular out there. It's truly C.J. Stroud and his ability to.
Larry Tunsil's good at tackle, but other than that,
this Texans team is going to be very, very strong for many, many years to come. That's for sure. And I'm rooting for him big time. I'm a fan of C.J. Stroud, but also DeMeco Ryans was our defensive coordinator for a couple years over there with the Niners, and he went back.
Oh, that's right. He
home to where he played. He was a captain for the Texans, and to see him doing so well,
he's not even 40 years old, is he?
No, not yet. And I might have told this on Wednesday, I can't remember or not, but when the Niners played the Texans, the last game of last season, it was the Cardinals and the Niners at home in San Francisco, and it was J.J. Watt's last game, and J.J. came up to the coach DeMeco Ryans and told him, he said, "Hey, go make the Texans great again." And because at that point, I think he had already been announced that he was going over there, but he's done a fantastic job, and that's with with what? C.J. Stroud missed 2 games?
2 games with a concussion.
2 games with a concussion. So imagine if he would have been in there too. Shoot, he may be a good futures MVP bet right now, depending on what his odds would be for next season.
And this is a rematch of a game from week 1, but that was week 1.
Yeah,
so both
week
teams
1
were
means
completely different. Yeah.
Yeah, those mean nothing.
Yep, absolutely. I think it's gonna be a, like you said, the divisional weekend's just 4 spectacular football games, and you've got so many different storylines in each games and so many different matchups. Hey Keith, we got about a minute left. Give me your winner from each game.
Okay, so I don't see any way the Niners or the Ravens lose. Since they've gone to the one team in each conference getting the bye, 4 of 6 have ended up making the conference championship. 3 of 6 have made the Super Bowl. I think both the Texans and Packers are great stories. They're young teams, but, I mean, these are real juggernauts, like the best 2 teams in the NFL. Against my, probably good judgment, I am going to take the Bills over the Chiefs. I think it's Josh Allen's time. This is not the same Kansas City offense that we've had in years past. And unless
Patrick Mahomes' first ever road playoff game.
That's crazy.
It's insane. It's so ridiculous.
15 home games.
It is. And I actually like the Bucs to upset the Lions. And I hate saying this because I have a lot of good Detroit Lions, fans that are friends. But I really do think that this Tampa team, don't underestimate them. They have a lot of veterans. I don't think they're going to be scared of the moment of going into Detroit. I know that crowd's going to be insane. And we still got to see, can Jared Goff get it done? I know he did last week, and he exercised the demons, but he's got to do it again, arguably, or not even arguably, against a better defense than he did last week that does things by blitzing more than the Rams do that he has historically struggled. Yeah, has historically struggled against. So I'm going to take the Bucs and the only real upset of the weekend.
There you go. Well, Keith, I appreciate you modifying Wednesday and then coming back on today, and I'm sure we'll talk soon, and hopefully you win some more cash on this divisional round NFL weekend. I appreciate your call as always, my friend.
Yeah, tell Liam to hit me up when he gets some cards, man. I hope he's excited.
I will. He'll be pumped up. That's Keith Fleming. You can follow him at Keith Fleming with 2 M's on Twitter for all your DFS action. Well, you are listening to The Inside Drive. We'll be right back at the top of the hour.
104.3 ESPN is above the rim. Exciting college basketball is back. Tune in every Saturday for the biggest games in college basketball, plus marquee evening matchups during the week. The Round Ball. And it goes for the win! You want it. You need it. And we've got it. College basketball plays here. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Friday. Partly sunny the rest of the day with a moderate breeze coming out of the north at 14 miles per hour and temps near 59. We will have partly cloudy skies and a wind speed of 14 miles per hour tonight and be just below freezing at 31. And sunny tomorrow and a high 46 with a blustery wind. Mostly sunshine Sunday with a temp of 48. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Dothan and Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
Your home for Auburn Tiger basketball. WGSX Lynn Haven. WVLQ Port St. Joe.
ESPN Northwest Florida, War Eagle.
A new year and New Year's resolutions go hand in hand. A trip to Krispy Kreme is always a great idea, New Year's resolutions or not. Folks have been making the trip to Krispy Kreme since July 13th, 1937, over and over again. The reason for the trips? The best donuts you've ever tasted. Krispy Kreme Donuts, with 2 locations to serve you, in front of HCA Hospital, 23rd Street, Panama City, and on the Ross Clark Circle in Dothan. Krispy Kreme Donuts. Get them hot.
For the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey and Jay Henley.
This man is destroying golf.
Broadcasting live from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios.
You may be right, but our ratings are up and we're attracting new youthful sponsors.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Sky rockets in flight. Afternoon delight.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive. This is Ryan Mulvey. Jim Durant came by, stopped by, saying hello, have him in. And we have a caller on the line. We've got our very own Jay Henley from up there in Georgia. Jay, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right, man.
Jay in Georgia. Do you know this guy sounds kind of shady?
He is a shady fella.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you good. Can you hear us?
I was doing my afternoon delight as it was coming on, man.
Nice. It's like you're here in spirit, that's for sure.
Yes, sir.
Hey, first off, I just got to give you one more time a huge thank you for you and both David stepping up and making sure I didn't, go down, crack my head open, any of that stuff. So I'm very, very thankful for the actions that you and David took here a couple days ago.
We love you, dude, and it's the right thing to do, man.
Yeah, you did it. That's for sure.
We love you, and there's so many thoughts and prayers coming
I
up
feel
from,
it's overwhelming.
From South Georgia for sure, man. So I love you, dude, and we're gonna get through all this together, brother.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is just a little bump in the road.
That's it.
As you know, it's just there's too much competition in this guy's body, and I don't like losing. I don't like losing to anything. And the Niners better win the Super Bowl. We better arrange this MRI next Sunday to make sure that I can see the NFC Championship. Should the Niners beat the Packers this weekend? But I have a feeling. They're going to.
They will. The Niners are they're going to win the Super Bowl this year, brother.
Let's hope so. Hope so. And that would be good.
I could see it.
That'd be good for everybody. I mean, they're healthy. Like I said, I was telling Keith in the last segment that Eric Armstead, one of our best interior linemen, is back. So we're only really got one guy out, and then Greenlaw's questionable, but he'll play because he's a monster. And they'll be as healthy as they've been all year going into this home playoff game tomorrow night, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Well, you guys went to Green Bay. How many years ago was that? And that Green Bay's got to go to San Francisco.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago. That was 2 years ago was 2022. Yeah, 2 years ago it was that freezing cold game up there, and the Niners blocked that punt that bounced way up in the air. They recovered it for a touchdown because the game was very, very slow. A lot of running, not a lot of scoring. Blocked a punt, returned it for a touchdown, and then Robbie Gould kicked a game-winning field goal in overtime, if I'm not mistaken, to move us on to the Super Bowl, where obviously we did not win that one. But yeah, no, it was exciting. No, that was the NFC Championship against the Rams, where Jimmy Ward dropped that interception. The last Super Bowl we were in, we were up on the Chiefs in the fourth quarter, and then the Chiefs came back and won. So I'm hoping the Chiefs lose to the Buffalo Bills, so we don't have to worry about any future Chiefs matchups. But we'll see. Anything you want to talk about before we jump in our picks, Mr. Oh, yeah, your Bills, yeah.
My Bills are going to pull through, baby. They're going to pull through.
I feel good about this one. At home, Patrick Mahomes' first ever road playoff game, which is still pretty... Thanks for stopping by, Jim.
All right. Take care of yourself, man.
Absolutely.
Think about you.
Absolutely. We appreciate it very, very much. But, yeah, Jay, it's the first ever road playoff game for Patrick Mahomes. That's pretty hard to believe, isn't it? He's played in 15 playoff games besides Super Bowls, and those have all been at home. Pretty wild. A pretty strong testament there to how good they have been in the regular season. We already did your tip of the week this week, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You don't remember?
I can't remember.
Yeah,
we did it.
No, the Weed Eater was last week, I think.
Weed Eater was last week.
Weed Eater was last week. I can't.
Draw a C.
Draw a C. That's right. Draw a C. In the backswing, draw the C, shallow the club, square it up, hit it a mile, all that good stuff.
That's it.
All that good stuff. But yeah, you want to jump into our picks?
Let's do it, man.
All right, then we got Aaron Bearden coming up at 12:20. If you got any questions for him, let me know. I'll write them down. We'll ask him. They've got a huge, cool break coming up that I know he's going to be talking about a little bit, so we'll jump into that. But, all right, let's you want to start with the 4 NFL games? Or you want to start with the mosh posh or potpourri of other games that I have for us to pick in this week 21 of our picking?
What you got? You got some NHL games?
I got two NHL games, 2 NBA games, and then 2 NCAA men's basketball games.
And then a pickleball match for 10 points.
Yes, that can catch you right up. It's 90 to 112 to 113. David's leading. Ooh. You're bringing up the rear. They're getting close to that centennial mark, though.
Yes, sir.
All right, where do you want to go?
Let's go NCAA, basketball?
Yeah, yep. All right, first matchup's going to be a good SEC matchup between 2 ranked teams. That's the Ole Miss Rebels traveling up there to Neville Arena to take on the Auburn Tigers. Auburn got the win, 2 nights ago against Vanderbilt? It was either last night or 2 nights ago.
It was Tuesday, I believe. Tuesday or Wednesday?
I think it was Wednesday.
All right.
Because I didn't get to talk.
It was Wednesday.
Yeah, because I didn't get to talk about it on Wednesday. But, yeah, they won another game by 15 or more points and have stretched that winning streak to 10 games. But Ole Miss is a good basketball team. I think they're ranked 22nd in the nation. But Neville Arena is a very, very, very difficult place to play. Let me see. Do you care about the spread, Jay? Or you just want to pick it?
I tell you what. I mean, talking to Brad Law a week or 2 ago, we asked, for my good friend Cliff, we had asked the question how, what's the ceiling for Auburn Tigers this year, and I think Brad said championship, and so
at least an SEC
you got to go with Brad
championship.
and got to take the Tigers over those Ole Miss Rebels.
Yeah, there you go. Taking the Tigers on that one. Exciting. All right. David, we'll let you go next on this one since I got David hanging out in this chair right next to me.
Yeah, I think, I think this game will be very entertaining, but I think the difference is going to be Auburn being at the house in the jungle for this game. So let me get the Tigers. I don't know a lot about these teams yet, but as Jay mentioned, we do have a wealth of information in Brad Law, and that gives me another good reason to say War Eagle for you fellow Auburn Tiger fans, you opponents, Auburn Tiger fans.
Yeah.
War Eagle for Ryan. How about that?
You go. Hey, Jay grew up as
I was a War Eagle as a kid.
Yeah, I wouldn't be going around touting that.
Hey, maybe in a couple years. When the freeze machine. Hey, we just stole a recruit from Bama. So.
Yeah.
But who is it?
It's like
another quarterback just left too, didn't he?
Yeah, Julian Sayin, man, and he was supposed to be a big time deal. So yeah, we'll see how all of that is. We're like the Goodwill of college football right now. Like, here you go, or the Oprah, I guess. You get a player. You get a player.
Yeah, everybody's getting players, but I mean, it's funny though because that's the day and age we live in football. Yeah. And when you have when you have a coaching change now, like you told me and I learned, it opens up the transfer portal for 30 days.
Yeah.
And I don't get. I mean, I guess I get why people are leaving because Nick Saban's not there anymore.
Yeah.
But wouldn't you still want to be a part of Alabama?
Well, that's just kind of goes to show you like the reality of what Saban did to bring that brand back to prominence. Because I mean, before Saban, it was not that. Saban's first year, 7-6, and then once he kind of started getting some of those recruits from Foley, Alabama, and Julio Jones, that's when the trend started to head upwards. So I think we're in for to me, as an Alabama fan who wasn't an Alabama fan, just Saban took over, we're winning championships. Like I remember like what it was like exactly. And so with that, honestly, there's a side of me that I know is about to be entertaining because you're going to see a lot of spoiled Alabama fans probably change their fandom because of this. And I feel for Kalen DeBoer in all of this because he really is a good coach, but this is a hard situation to be a good coach and you're following Saban up.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's also a massive opportunity to potentially, bring it to right where it was or maybe even instill your own legacy there in Tuscaloosa. All right, Jay, next college basketball game we got in there is another ranked matchup. That's number 24 ranked Iowa State and number 19 ranked TCU. This is going to be in Fort Worth. Both teams in the Big 12, both 13-4, both 2-2. I'll go first on this one. I'm going to take take TCU at home in this one, and then Jay will let you go next.
Oh, all right. So tails TCU, heads Iowa State. Flipping the coin right now. It is tails. I'm going TCU.
All right.
All right. Well, I'll go with the Iowa State Cyclones for Brock Purdy.
Yeah, the alumni there, both playing on the same day.
A little quick sidebar. I don't know if you heard about the TCU women's basketball team.
Yes.
Yeah, they didn't have enough players to fill the team. They had a lady go down for the season with, I believe, an ACL or whatever. So they were having to hold tryouts in the middle of the season to have enough players to play games.
That's just stuff that's unheard of.
Yeah.
In Division I NCAA basketball.
Especially with the sport of women's college basketball and the
trajectory.
Yes, exactly.
Yep, absolutely. I know Auburn women had a huge victory. It was either earlier this week or late last week against Angel Reese and those LSU Tigers. All right, Jay, jumping in. Let's go NBA. We're going to go David's Indiana Pacers versus those Portland Trailblazers, and we'll let David pick first in this one.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have Tyrese Halliburton still won't be back there, but Pascal Siakam should be into the lineup at that point in time. The offense is just insane for the Pacers, and it's very quick. A lot of motion going on. It's hard to keep up with, too, at times, and TJ McConnell did a good job playing point guard for the Pacers last night. I don't think that the Trailblazers are having a very good season, especially with the absence of Dame Lillard heading over there to Milwaukee. So give me the Pacers in this game handedly.
All right, I'm also going to take the Pacers for all the reasons David just said, and I kind of like the Pacers. They're kind of fun to watch.
Yeah.
And when Tyrese Halliburton comes back, Doc A always talks about him, so we'll go with that. All right, Jay, Pacers or Portland Trailblazers?
You got to go Pacers. I mean, David just explained it, right? Big offense. Let's do it. Let's go Indiana.
Trailblazers will be picking up a win, not because Jay picked it, but because we swept it.
Yes. Well, all of usually when we pick the sweep, unless it's something like super obvious, we usually don't necessarily get it. I think that was the Eagles and somebody last week. Anyway,
yeah, the Eagles and somebody, but you had the Buccaneers. That was the first thing.
No. Yeah, it was what was it that we? Oh, it was we all had the Cowboys and we all had the Rams.
Yep.
Yeah, Matt, though, came up to me at the game last night. He was like, man, we were wrong about the Eagles.
That's funny.
Yeah, you, me, and a lot of other people.
Big shout out to you guys for that big win last night, 26-0, huh?
No, it was fun. Kids were playing well. They were playing spirited, and like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, Liam was really throwing the rock with some good velocity and throwing it to space for kids to run to, and that's something we've been working really hard on. So
that throw to Miles or Taggart, that was in the right side of the end zone, just over the head of the defender.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I think that was Miles. Miles was wearing the gray, and Tag was wearing the white.
I just got to look at the back of the jersey sometimes.
It's got the T in it. That's the first year we've ever been able to do that. But tough when you got twins on the team, especially when they look as much as they certainly do. Yeah. But all right, Jay Henley, we got the Denver Nuggets and Nikola Jokic going against the Boston Celtics. If I remember correctly, it's at home in Boston, and the Celtics are a 7.5-point favorite. I'll start this one. I'm going to go with Jokic and the Nuggets on this one. What do you got, Jay?
Ooh, I got to. So Boston's a 7.5
7.5
favorite. I got to go
favorite.
Boston. Is it in Boston?
It is.
All right, yeah, let's go Boston.
Yeah, Boston at the house is just something to be reckoned with. But talk about the fast pace that the Pacers bring. Nikola Jokic, they bring a totally different style of offense, and for a big man, he's just a lot of fun to watch. I would like to take Jokic, but I think that the Celtics at the house are going to prove to be too much.
Yep, there you go. All right, 2 hockey games real quick. Jay, we'll start with the Stars at the Devils up there at the Prudential Center in Newark. I believe the Stars are favored in this one. I don't know if they're favored, but their record is significantly better. We'll let you go first in this one. It's Stars at the Devils.
Let me start with NHL.
Yeah, I figured it's a crapshoot for you regardless. So
yeah, let's go Stars just because of my boy Hefner and
Dallas has got to have something to root for, right?
Yeah, there you go. Dallas fell to the Flyers last night, but on the road, the Stars are 12-5-3, and New Jersey at the house 9-10-2. That's the only kind of statistic I can give you on this. I'll take Dallas and the Stars.
rematch of the 2000 Stanley Cup Finals. Eddie the Eagle Belfour, I believe, was on that team. All right, last but not least, it's
Oh, well, I guess we know who you're picking.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I went with the Devils. I can't not pick against the Devils. That would be like picking against the Niners. All right, last is the Lightning at the Sabres before we jump into these 4 NFL games. And, David, you can go first on this one.
Oh, wow. Bolts are 8-12-2 at the house. Sabres not a great season, but the Lightning are heating up. The power play is tremendous. One thing I didn't like last night is the Bolts are up 7-3 with under 2 minutes to play, and Kucherov, Point, and Stammer were getting plenty of ice time at that point in a game where they don't need ice time. Like, I love Coach Coop, but these guys are very important to the success for the Stanley Cup playoffs. I'll take the Bolts by 2 goals.
There you go. Yeah, you don't really see that much in hockey when you get up, because you don't get up in those kind of leads very often. So, and hockey, just you got quick shifts anyway and all that. So you don't see players being rested like you would in an NFL and stuff like that. But I'm also going with the Lightning. I watch a lot of Lightning games, and they're playing some good hockey right now and fun to watch. And the Sabres just, I don't know. Yeah, it's a tough go.
They close to 500.
Yeah, which is good for them because they've had a rough last 10 years or so. All right, Jay, who you taking? Lightning or Sabres?
My question is, what is a saber? Are we talking like saber-toothed tiger, or what's going on with that?
Well, no, the Buffalo Sabre, it's like their logo has swords, so like the saber represents like a saber, like a sword saber, if I'm understanding correctly.
Okay.
Yeah, and what's crazy though is I love the fact that Jay just brought that up, because it is the sword side of it, but what's in between those swords?
Yeah,
a bill.
Yep.
Huh.
So, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm sure there's some long story about how they became the Buffalo Sabres. Because you remember before this current jersey, I mean, they used to have that black, red, and white jersey with a buffalo head on it, and they've had many versions of their jersey. So who are you going with, Jay?
All right, I'm going to go with the Sabres. I've got to catch up here. I got to get to 100 wins.
There you go. Well, it doesn't matter if you're just trying to get to 100 wins. It doesn't matter if you beat us or not.
Got an answer for the logo question. All right, real quick. Their name came as the result of a name the team contest. The winner said they chose the Sabres name because of the sharp blades of an ice skate. The original logo included a white buffalo, a symbol of good luck, placed in between 2 crossed saber swords on a blue and gold circle.
Huh. Wow.
Because of an ice skate.
Fun fact of the day. let the fans name your team, and that's what happens.
Hey, that's why minor league baseball is so great most of the time, or their names anyways.
Yes, their names are fantastic, that's for sure. Jay, I'm assuming you got to go after this segment. We got Aaron Bearden coming up next anyway. Did you want to do the NFL picks in the last segment, or you want to just knock them out real fast?
That's up to you guys.
Here, why don't we just get your picks, and then me and David will do our picks and break down the games a little bit in the final segment. All right. Texans, Ravens.
Oh, I'm going to go with C.J. Stroud and the Texans. Man, they're on a roll. This is where the buck stops for the Baltimore Ravens.
There you go. I mean, Lamar Jackson. He's kind of the Dak of the AFC. He just doesn't get it done in the playoffs, and that's why they were hesitant on giving him that big contract. Everybody still thinks he's the best quarterback in the league, but interesting stuff. Anyway, Packers at Niners.
Got to go with my boy Mulvey's Niners. They're at home. They've done well all year long. And, man, go Niners. I'll be rooting for them hard Saturday.
Saturday night?
Right. Tomorrow afternoon.
Yep. Are you coming back this weekend, or are you staying up there?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'll be back this weekend. That's just, with the cold weather and stuff, man, I'm ready for springtime. I don't know about you.
Hey, I think
with the cold weather, I'm going to go a little bit further north.
That makes sense. But, it looks like it's going to be in the 70s next week. Yeah, some exciting stuff going on. All right, 2 more to pick. Bucks at Lions.
Bucks at Lions. You got to go with Detroit, man. They haven't been in this situation, in 33 years.
That was their first playoff win since 1992 this past weekend. Trying to make it 2 playoff wins in many years, but that doesn't even make sense. All right, last but not least, the Chiefs at the Bills. I already know who you're taking in this one.
Got to take my Buffalo Bills.
You got to take your new team, that's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah. I'm hopeful. I think they're going to get it done. I think it's time for a new group of teams there in that AFC Championship. But Jay, hey, appreciate you calling in, and look forward to getting back in studio with you on Monday. And enjoy your time up there, and safe travels back down.
Will do, guys. Y'all have a good weekend. We'll see you Monday.
All right. Thanks, Jay. You guys are listening to The Inside Drive. When we get back, it's Friday. It is 12:20. That means we'll be joined by Aaron Bearden from Instant Replay Sports Cards.
ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Coach James Hale Show.
No. That was a good supervisor. Right. Yeah, if I was you, I'd roll that one over there.
They've got the toughest schedule now ever. Ever.
Yeah, they play Mississippi State on the road.
Hey, easy on my ball.
It's like, okay, enough.
Guys are concerned about what's happening now.
That's right.
Weekday morning 7 to 9. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Friday. Partly sunny the rest of the day with a moderate breeze coming out of the north at 14 miles per hour and temps near 59. We will have partly cloudy skies and a wind speed of 14 miles per hour tonight and be just below freezing at 31. And sunny tomorrow and a high 46 with a blustery wind. Mostly sunshine Sunday with a temp of 48. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hey folks, Chris Kramer with Bill Kramer GM. And the best place to listen to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is inside a brand new vehicle from Bill Kramer GM. And I want you to know we've got 10 times the amount of inventory on the ground as we did this time last year, and darn near all of them are discounted. So shop us online at BillKramerGM.com or visit us the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd. We'll make it easy and take great care of you.
Ellis Agency Insurance has been serving Panama City and Bay County for years. They offer a full line of affordable insurance coverage of all types. Many people are attracted to Ellis Agency Insurance because of their friendly, knowledgeable staff. Call independent agent Johnny Ellis for a true comparison of your personal or business insurance. Ellis Agency Insurance at the Old Cullen Insurance location, 1134 Harrison Avenue, across from Dandy Donuts and Deli. Call 763-1627. Up
back to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios.
It's alive! Look alive! We're alive!
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. It's Friday again. It's 12:20, and there is a ton going on at this awesome place down there in the Stanford Station Shopping Plaza, right there between Academy Sports and Sweet Frog Creamery, and that is Instant Replay Sports Cards. And we have Aaron Bearden on the line. Aaron, how are you doing on this beautiful Friday?
Oh, fantastic. How about you guys?
We're doing good. Yeah, it's the sun's shining. Everything is good. And you've got a ton going on. I've been paying attention to your Facebook page and your website. And let's jump into the first big one and tell everybody a little bit about that. You guys are doing a huge break here. You know, you're selling all the spots right now, but it's a 2021 National Treasures Baseball sealed case, which means you've had since 2021.
Yes, actually, yeah. We have had it since 2021. For a little while, I actually forgot about it. Forgot that I had it.
That's awesome.
And, yeah, you know, we've been wanting to do this for a little while. We've got some guys that are doing our breaks with us on Saturday that, you know, they enjoy doing the hobby boxes off the shelf, but, you know, several of them have been like, hey, let's do some really big stuff. We want to see some of those potentially really huge cards. So I think we're going to start making this a regular occurrence. And we'll jump back and forth between, you know, other sports. Won't always just be baseball. But National Treasures is a great product to start with. There's 8 cards in the box. Only 8, but all 8 of them are what we call hits. They're autographs. They're relic cards. And this is a product that isn't just about modern players. You can pull literally signatures out of here from, you know, guys like Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Jackie Robinson. You know, pretty much anybody you can name throughout baseball history. If they're a huge, famous Hall of Fame level player, they're in this product.
And some of that, I was looking at your website, and like you said, Babe Ruth, Ted Williams, Ty Cobb, Roberto Clemente, Shohei Ohtani, Satchel Paige, Ken Griffey Jr., Pujols, Rodriguez, Julio Rodriguez. I mean, modern and the back in the day for sure. You even got a Bo Jackson, Ronald Acuna Jr. in this box. And how does this particular break work?
Well, these are going to be random teams. So there are 30 spots or 30 MLB teams. So we'll sell the 30 spots, and at the time we do the break, we'll randomize, and everybody find out what team they have. And as we open it up, you'll get any card of the player from that team. In the event we have a card with maybe two guys on it, maybe there's Babe Ruth and Ted Williams, then we'll randomize it again between whoever had the New York Yankees and whoever had the Boston Red Sox, or whichever teams happen to be depicted. We're also throwing in, we had a little quota yesterday, kind of like the online crowdfunding, Kickstarters and all.
Yeah.
We threw a little thing out there. If we sold a certain amount of spots in 24 hours, we would add in a box of Topps RIP cards. People love these. The fun thing in the hobby started with Allen and Ginter cards. A RIP card is literally, you get a baseball card that's about as thick as about 10 cards put together. And but you can rip it open, and there's a smaller card inside, and you don't know what that card is until you tear the card open. So, do you rip it? Do you sell it? Who knows? It could be all kind of stuff. So they made a product now called RIP cards, and you get 4 of these in the box, just 4 cards, but they're all RIP cards.
Wow!
So it's a lot of fun for people like that. So we're throwing a box of those in with the break, and everybody keep your eye out on our Facebook page, on our website. We may do some more little fun add-ons like this as we get closer. The break is scheduled for this coming Thursday night, January 25th, 7 p.m., right here in the shop. You don't have to be here to participate. We're going to live stream the thing, so anybody can watch it from anywhere. So if you just want to chill out and watch it and hang out, that's cool. If you have to work or something, you want to be in it, and you want to watch it later, we got that set up for you as well. But you do have to buy a spot ahead of time. So you can do that right there on our website, instantReplaySportsCards.com.
There you go. And still some spots available in the break.
Oh, yeah. They are moving pretty quick.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean,
don't wait. Sometimes we have guys like, well, I'll just wait till Thursday when I come. It's like, no. Go ahead and grab them. And there will be some incentives coming up for people who've already bought in. So you don't want to wait and be the final person.
There you go. So get in now. And like Aaron said, you can go to their Facebook page. It's Instant Replay Cards, or you can go to their website, instantReplaySportsCards.com. And that break is right on there. And you can purchase the break right on your website, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, there's a link you can just check out right there. I think like credit card, PayPal, a whole bunch of different options for you. Or you can buy them here in the shop.
There you go. You can swing on by down there in the Stanford Station Shopping Plaza and get your spot in this massive break. And I think I read somewhere you said if these type of breaks continue to be successful, look for more of these. Obviously you have your Saturday breaks every Saturday, but these are on a different level, right, so to speak. That it's a much higher end box, bigger product, and this one's from 3 years ago, and somebody could be going home with some pretty special cards, or somebody will be going home with some pretty special cards from this break. That's for sure.
Absolutely, that's what we're hoping for. We've had 2 Babe Ruth relic cards pulled out of here in the last month. Hoping to keep that going. I'd love to see another Ruth come out of here, or like I say, any of those guys you mentioned. Man, there's just so many great names on this checklist.
And I'm assuming a product like this, if you were to buy it on your own, probably looking somewhere in that $1,000 plus price range.
Yeah, well, there are 4 boxes in the case, and yeah, they'll go for $700 or $800, something like that per box.
Wow. Yeah, so you've got basically a $2,800, $3,200 value that you're giving everybody to this break, which is pretty special. And there's also been you've had some recent new boxes come in. These 2023 Leaf Metal Baseball released, it looks like yesterday, and the cards you posted on your Facebook page, those are some beautiful cards.
Yeah, Leafs really stepping their game up. They've had to figure out a way to compete. They're not Topps, they're not Panini, they're not Upper Deck. They're having a lot of trouble being able to manufacture cards. You're having to go directly to the players and sign a deal to make a card rather than being allowed by law to go to the league, which they can't do.
Gotcha.
So they're having to make some creative cards and some really good-looking cards and things you can't get elsewhere in order to stay competitive. And they've definitely done that the last 2 years. So this new Leaf Metal is a fun product for the first time in, a decade or more, it seems. Leaf is putting some base non-autographed cards in their product, and yet they're all still serial numbered. They're low-print runs. So there's a lot of fun, a lot of excitement, a lot of things you don't expect to be in the box.
Yeah, that's awesome. And one thing that's so special about you guys is, you're typically not considerably, but let's say 10, 15% less than most other places that you would go to get the exact same box. Fair to say?
Or far more.
Yeah. There you go.
Sometimes half.
Wow. I didn't want to overshoot what you did, so I wanted to start a little bit slow. But, all the more reason to support Instant Replay Sports Cards, because you guys are certainly giving back to the people supporting your stores by offering these lower prices on some pretty awesome stuff that you guys have there in the store.
Yeah, in fact, I think just before we went on air, posted, today was a release date for 2023 Bowman Chrome collegiate basketball, which everybody's after. The big chase is Bronny James.
Yeah,
got cards in there. I believe there's some dual stuff with LeBron and Bronny as well. If they don't have it out yet, they're about to, because LeBron has announced he's going officially with Fanatics after about 20 years with Upper Deck.
Wow.
But there's a ton of great stuff in the box. A lot of the people that are going to be, next year's top NBA players, rookies, are going to be in there. Those boxes right now online, I was just checking about 15, 20 minutes ago, they're anywhere from like $205 plus shipping to up to $240, $250 a box. We're doing them on release day for $200.
And you go home with them that day.
Yes.
You get to go home and rip those packs open as soon as you want.
Relieve the anxiety.
Yes.
Right here in the shop, we got a table for you for breaking.
There you go.
Pull stuff out of there. We got sleeves, we got top loaders to give you. We'll take care of, nobody's walking out of here when they open their cards. I'm like, I don't have anything to put my autograph card in. We got you covered. You buy a box, you buy packs, you open it up, you pull something, we're going to sleeve it up for you.
There you go. You'll help protect it, help keep it good.
Aaron, you mentioned that chase for Bronny. Do you think that chase, once he's about to get into the league, or maybe after he's already been drafted, do you think that could surpass the craze that has been Wemby?
It's all going to be performance-based, right? So, Wemby, look, the hype was there for Wemby, for Zion. That was really unrealistic. We were expecting these guys, or not say we, but there were certain analysts who were expecting these guys to come out and basically be, Jordan, LeBron, and Kareem all wrapped up in one. And rookie year put together stats that, nobody's ever seen. And that's just not that realistic. This is, incredible competition they're facing. But I think Wemby has proven he can play in that league at that level, and I think he's just going to get better. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
The hype for Wemby, as far as from the card side of it, honestly was not quite as big as the hype for Zion. And part of that is just the time they came out. Cards were sort of about to peak when Zion hit. And we had a lot of people come in who were not card collectors who just said, hey, I've heard about this guy, Sports Illustrated, ESPN, et cetera, and I want to get his card before he, really takes off. Wemby hasn't exactly been that way, but the part of that has been cards have been kind of coming back down to earth from that kind of COVID explosion that they had. So, it's apples to oranges.
Yeah.
There. I don't know. Bronny may be. I know he's had that health scare, obviously.
Yeah, he's only really averaging like 6 points a game right now or something like that.
Yeah, I think if we can see that over enough time that he's healthy and he can live up to those expectations and all that, then yeah, it could be there. And a lot of it with him, honestly, it's going to depend on where he goes when it gets time for him to be drafted. LeBron has talked in the past about wanting to do a year
with the two of them together on a team, sort of the Ken Griffey Jr., Ken Griffey Sr. with the Mariners thing. Man, I mean, if something like that were to happen, I think the card would be huge.
Yeah.
Just for the feel of the whole story, and it'd be a great story for him to be able to overcome that and play at that level and get to play with his dad.
Yeah, and one thing Bronny is going to have in his favor as far as that chase goes is having that one-of-one with his dad, which Wemby, I don't think we'll have a Wemby-LeBron one-of-one, but you never know what direction that'll end up going. And then I also wanted to ask you, over there at Instant Replay Sports Cards, is there a chase that is going on specifically like here in Panama City that you're just like, this surprises me that everyone is going after this particular card or this particular box? Is there something that's surprising you?
Yeah, although it shouldn't surprise me. But yes, so this year's Bowman Draft Baseball, which came out in December, it has all the guys who just got drafted this past year. The big prospect everybody's looking for, I think, first of all, is Paul Skeens, obviously, because I believe he's number one. But Fanatics did something to try to hook people into Bowman Draft. They realized that 20 years ago, the Montreal Expos drafted a kid they never actually brought onto the field named Tom Brady. So they went back and made a card for Tom Brady. They had a picture of him in his Montreal Expos uniform. It's incredibly scarce. You get one supposedly in like every 220 boxes or something like that. And they're expensive boxes to begin with.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have people who are not even baseball collectors who are looking for that card, and people who are not Tom Brady fans who are looking for it just because they know what it sells for.
Yeah.
Man, that's wild.
Yeah, it's a little surprising to me that we haven't come in and that's all they're talking about. I'm like, yes, but there are all these other prospects whose cards are selling for a lot of money.
Yeah.
On the level with the Tom Brady card because, like I say, he's so scarce. I mean, it's like buying a lottery ticket. When you hear the Powerball hits the $1 billion or whatever, and there are people like, okay, now I'll go buy one.
Yeah.
Like, at $800 million, it wasn't motivation.
No, it wasn't enough. Yeah.
When you buy the store, yeah, so they're like, yeah, I'll buy it because it's got this $1,000 Tom Brady card. And I'm like, yes, but there are also $1,000 Paul Skeens cards as well.
Yep, absolutely. A lot of good prospects in that year. That's for sure. Coming out of college, moving up.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. On the value side of, a lot of people were chasing C.J. Stroud cards, of course, because huge rookie sensation, most likely to win offensive rookie of the year. But now that they beat the Browns and they're now got a shot to make it to the AFC Championship, does that change value? Does stuff like this change the value that quickly of these cards? Does it cycle almost like a spot price in like gold or silver when it comes to that kind of stuff?
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, Stroud has sort of been trending up, and part of it is the rest of this rookie class has not performed at that level.
100%.
There have been a few outright disappointments, and there have been some guys that sort of have that natural period of adjustment to the league that maybe they take off next year, the year after. Stroud has been the one that's kind of like, wow, he stepped into a situation that wasn't a guaranteed success, and he's really performed well. I think particularly if you compare what he's done with what Bryce Young has done at the NFL level, you get an appreciation for Stroud. And can we just say, Stroud, I think, is the only guy in the NFL that you can say his stock has risen by just saying he beat the Browns. I mean, who saw that
as a good measuring stick? Yeah. No, absolutely.
3 or 4 years ago, it's like, man, the Water Boy would beat the Browns, but they've had a great year.
Yeah, no, it's been fun to watch, and they may not even been done yet. I mean, hell, if this kid goes on and then goes to the AFC Championship and somehow beats the Ravens and it can sneak into the Super Bowl, does stuff like that really skyrocket the value of those cards?
Oh yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, it's, go back to week one, nobody was talking about, hey, Stroud may be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It was just, you're just hoping like, hey, maybe he can perform at an NFL level and he doesn't get benched partway through the year for, a veteran that we'd all forgotten was still playing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He's overperformed, I think. But yes, it does reflect in his cards. His cards have been going up particularly the last, say, 3-4 weeks.
Gotcha. Gotcha. About that time, I got in on one of your breaks and got that CJ Stroud 7 out of 25 auto card. That partially asking a little bit selfishly, but definitely I was thought about testing the waters a little bit, but kind of going to want to see how the rest of this season goes and see if he gets named that offensive rookie of the year, but certainly fun to watch. A lot of other fun stuff you got to watch. Just remind everybody as we're coming up on the end of this segment, what you got going on tonight and tomorrow.
Yeah, so tonight at 6 p.m., Instant Replay Kids Club. Bring the kids down. We do box breaks for the kids. They do trading. We do a lot of games and giveaways. Have a good time with them from 6 to 8 p.m. We keep the breaks under $10 a piece, so the kids, it doesn't cost too much to take them out, and they get some good cards, get to engage with other kids who like their hobby. Then tomorrow, Saturday at noon, we have in-store breaks. Not exclusive to the adults, but it's a lot of adults. They do the hobby boxes. They cost a little more. A lot of those buy-ins are $25, $30, something like that, but they're boxes where everybody's getting autographs, everybody's getting these good serial numbered cards, and it's just a lot of fun. Come hang out with a bunch of people who share the hobby and like to talk about sports, and everybody gets to go home with some good cards.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, everybody that's there has the same love of that hobby, and everybody loves to talk about sports. And probably just the conversation and the camaraderie is worth hanging out on a Saturday at noon. Either way, especially down there at your cool store. Aaron, we appreciate your... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
We got a couple of hardcore Cowboys guys and Eagles guys, so, feel free to just come down and rib them a little bit.
That's all right. I got to see what happens in the Niners-Packers game first this weekend. But yes, no, it's wild that the Cowboys and the Eagles and the Rams I was really worried about on the NFC side. But and now if the Texans can somehow find a way to beat the Ravens, then it's going to be interesting. Who would have thought that the Lions would be making this run? And Patrick Mahomes, can you believe it's Patrick Mahomes' first away playoff game in his career?
Wow.
That's just hard to believe. He's 12-3 at home. Every game besides Super Bowl games he's played at home. Unbelievable statistic. I learned that earlier this week and was just blown away.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's been an incredible career so far. He's not done.
No, he's not done by any stretch of the imagination, and that's the scary part of it. Aaron, appreciate your time always on Friday. Everybody go check out Instant Replay Sports Cards right there in the Stanford Station Shopping Plaza next to Academy Sports and Outdoors and the Sweet Frog Creamery. Lots of awesome new products in. Got to get in on the 2020 baseball break. Spots are running out. You don't want to be the last person. Aaron, have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
Take care. Everybody be good.
All right. Thank you, sir. That was Aaron Bearden from Instant Replay. When we get back, me and Dave are going to break down the 4 NFL divisional games.
It's the PCB Hobby Takeover with Todd. Mondays at 5:20 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
That is a very high-end card and very rare.
Todd talks about coins, trading cards, collectibles, and the amazing stories behind them.
It was the first one that's ever come through my door.
Plus, we'll be taking your calls and questions at 850-215-6290. The PCB Hobby Takeover.
A platform for you to do your hobby.
Mondays at 5:20 on the Sports Talk Monster. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards and Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
Your biggest investment is your home. Protect it while also improving its appearance with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. We have sand, mulch, gravel, or lay down decorative stone, all available for pickup and delivery. Discover your dream landscape with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Imagine the moment you proudly pull up to your home that you've worked so hard for, enhanced by quality mulch, decorative stones, and more. Let's make it happen today. Request a quote online at earthworkspc.com or swing by the office at 2005 Industrial Drive. Love the land you live on.
Coming in hot.
So hot.
It'll be a hot one. Really hot. Goddamn.
The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. Live from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Glad to be back in the studio today. Going to have a weekend. I'll be back on Monday. Jay will be back on Monday. We'll get everything going. Hopefully, we'll be talking about a 49ers victory against the Packers on Monday. Even though I know the betting public has got some serious cash on those Packers, but I think that's because there's a lot of upside with the Packers potentially winning that game. But we got Jay's pick on these 4 games. We picked the rest of the 6 games that were hockey, NBA, and NCAA men's basketball. So we got the 4 divisional round games, and we've got some fun divisional round games on the docket this weekend. It's just still crazy to think that we're already here at the divisional round time. Oh, got a quick phone call. Dave's going to go grab that one, see who it is. But yes, excited to get it kick-started tomorrow about 3:30 with the Texans at the Ravens up there in Baltimore, and looking forward to seeing that one. I'm actually... selfishly, if the Niners were to make it to the Super Bowl, which I hope they do, I'd love for them not to have to play the Ravens again in that one, even though sometimes when you play somebody, you've got a good look at them. But we do have a caller on the line, and it is our good friend, Mr. Michigan Eddie. Michigan Eddie, how are you doing today?
Go Blue Truck here. So we're going to back to the. Glad you're back in the saddle, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah, I kind of know what it is to go through something like that, so I understand. So I'm glad you're back, man. And Deanna, she's at the Piggy. Hello, Deanna, my lovely wife. She's listening into your show, brother.
Awesome. Anyway. Well, we appreciate all the listeners, everybody tuning in to ES Drive. And one more time, the support, this county, Bay County and the surrounding areas, I've never been in a place like it my entire life. And, you know, when you need some pick-me-up, this county certainly got you, that's for sure. And I'm very appreciative of everybody here in Bay County and the surrounding areas.
Is it when we said when our kids play basketball together, it takes a village?
It does. Right? It does.
Remember?
Yep.
So, and I want to squash a rumor that's been going out there about my family and little Eddie and stuff.
Squash it.
I never said we're moving back to Texas, which is a rumor that I guess we moved back to Texas already. I said it could be a possibility because we need to find the right schools for our children to go to, and it's either stay here, South Florida, Texas, where have you. But right now, we're Bay County. So there's a rumor out there saying that we've already moved to Texas, you know, but we're still here.
Not true. You're still here in Bay County. Still got that Michigan golf cart, right?
Yeah, I do. Dang Skippy. That's Deanna's golf cart for that was her present in 2017 for graduating from the University of Michigan, one of the greatest institutions of higher learning besides the Air Force Academy and Liberty.
There you go.
Right
I love how you always get those flames in there. Gotta love that.
Yeah, well, Deanna got her MBA from there, you know. Graduate top of her class from there.
Man, so, she's got some of the better, as you said, some of the better higher learning institutions in the country. She has got her degrees from. That's pretty impressive stuff there, that's for sure. But it probably takes those kind of degrees to be able to handle Michigan Eddie, no doubt about that.
Oh yeah, it does. I'm a handful. She'll tell you that. So it is what it is.
A handful that we all love.
I try to be the best I can be in all aspects, you know, and the Lord only gives us things we can handle, brother, so just remember that. And, you'll be heading up places. You know, I'm going to Houston in a couple weeks, and the Lord's with us, and just remember that. And you got a lot of prayers out there.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Positive thinking, leave it in somebody else's hands. But go.
But I'm excited. So, put a plug in. Eddie's playing football again. Lynn Haven Elite, 7v7, started practice yesterday. He's got baseball going on. And next weekend, he is going up to, we're flying up to Nashville for quarterback training with Coach Max and Bob Staver, Quarterback Vision, who have been guests on your show.
Please tell them I said hello.
I will. And I'm excited because they're allowing Eddie to be in the group for the high school college recruits.
Sweet.
So we'll see how
That's
Eddie
an
stacks up
opportunity.
there. Iron sharpens iron. So we'll see how Eddie stacks up, going into being a freshman next year. We'll see how he stacks up with the big boys.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm excited.
Just a great
I'm
organization. Great organization, great training, great people. One of these days when Liam gets a little bit older, I'm going to make that trip up there to Nashville. I know they got Josh down here, Josh Woodham over there at QB Vision Gulf Coast. It's just, I think it's in Niceville usually where they practice, which isn't the easiest, quickest area to get to. But Liam's only 9, so we've got some time to keep developing him. But, hey, Michigan Eddie, we were about to pick our picks, our 4 picks on the NFL game. So let's drop you in there and get your. We'll start with we won't go chronological. Actually, you know what? If you've got time to hang on for these next 7 minutes, we'll just go through all 4 games. You want to do that?
I'm here for you, brother.
Nah.
State of Michigan is football. America's state, not Dallas.
No,
Barry, you
Dallas
weirdo.
is clearly not America's team. Maybe they're America's team if you like losing in the playoffs, but that's about it. I've tried not to run my mouth a whole lot about that because we have to play the Packers this weekend, but I think you're going to see a little different effort from the boys in red and gold than you saw in the silver and blue, but we shall find out. All right, let's start with the first game. Michigan Eddie will let you pick first. Dr. Swing Doc Jay Henley took the Texans over the Ravens. Who you got in this matchup? Lamar Jackson 1-3 in the playoffs, trying to get over that narrative that he can't win in the postseason. Got the young buck C.J. Stroud coming into town, who's on fire. Great coach, D'Amico Ryans. Who you got, Michigan Eddie?
Well, with my heart, I want C.J. Stroud. He's a good Christian. He's a great Christian dude, man. Always give him
Great Christian dude.
Praise to the Lord.
Even though NBC cut out the interview that had that shocking.
Of course, MSDNC, of course, But anyway, in Harbaugh we trust. John Harbaugh is a great coach. He's a man of God himself. And I think this is where Lamar has got to exercise those demons. So I do think going up to Baltimore, I think Baltimore is going to win this game, even though it's going to be closer than people think. But don't be surprised if the Texans and Stroud and D'Amico Ryans win that game. But I'm going with the Ravens.
There you go, going with the Ravens. What about you, David Hayes?
Yeah, for those reasons that Michigan Eddie just mentioned, especially with C.J. Stroud, and he's been using his platform all year long for Jesus Christ. You got to love that. The Ravens with Lamar Jackson 0-2 in the divisional round. You've got the Texans who are 0-4 their entire franchise's career in the divisional round, losing by an average of 14.5 points. The Ravens are really good with their play action this year, and the Texans are not as good at defending the play action. I think that'll prove to be the difference. I like Lamar, but I like the Texans, or I like Lamar and the Ravens, but I like the Texans to stick within, 9.5?
Yeah, I think that's about what it is, yeah. So you're taking the Ravens, but you think the Texans will cover.
Yep.
And I think it's one of those things, unless you are a Baltimore Ravens fan, you are pulling for the Texans in this one, where I think that the Ravens are probably going to win just because I think they're a better football team. I'm going to take C.J. Stroud and the Texans because I want to pull hard for them. Marlon Humphreys is out for the Ravens. Maybe they can expose that a little bit on the backside. So I'm going to take the Texans straight up in this one. All right, next game. We've got about 4 minutes left. Is the Green Bay Packers, who are arguably playing some of the best football coming down the stretch with Jordan Love at the helm, traveling over there to Santa Clara and Levi Stadium to take on the Faithful. The Faithful did a good job making sure 97% of that stadium is going to be San Francisco 49ers fans, and only a small bit of them will be wearing the green and the yellow, and that was by design because those Packers fans travel well. I'll go first in this one. Easy decision for me. Got to go with my San Francisco 49ers. I think they're extremely healthy. And nobody's really banged up. They've had time to rest. They've had time to prepare. When they play against themselves in practice, they're going up against one of the better offenses and one of the better defenses. So I don't think there's going to be any rust. And I think what Keith said earlier, CMC off of buys is a beast. So I'm going to go with my San Francisco 49ers in this one. Michigan Eddie, who you got?
I would like to see the Packers beat the Niners. So if the Lions beat the Bucks, we get revenge for embarrassing us on national TV on Thanksgiving. But I got a question for you. Are the Niners completely healthy?
Yes, they have Seelan, one of our defensive ends. He's not playing, but he's not even really in the second rotation. So Greenlaw is questionable, but literally everybody else. Eric Armstead's back. He has been gone for 7 weeks. One of our better interior defensive linemen. So we are what I would call 99.5% healthy.
Then I go with the 49ers because, like I said earlier on another show, if one of those cogs is missing, San Francisco's a different team. But if they're completely healthy, I expect the Niners to win this game over the Pack.
Yeah, I like it, kind of a 42-17 kind of football game in this one. Go ahead, David.
I like the 49ers at the house.
All right, there you go. All right, we'll save your game for last there, Michiganetti. Next game up is the last game of the weekend, and that's the Chiefs at the Bills. I mentioned it a bunch in the last couple segments. First road game for Patrick Mahomes, traveling up there to Buffalo. They were still looking for snow shovelers to free up some of those seats up there. Going to be chilly, but that's nothing that Patrick Mahomes isn't used to, other than he's never played on the road in the playoff, and I think that's the difference in this football game. I'll pick first. I will take the Buffalo Bills to knock Patrick Mahomes, Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, all that cast of characters out of the NFL playoffs. Who you got, David Hayes?
Thorn in the side for Josh Allen has been and will continue to be Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. I need an upset in the divisional round. I believe in the Lions. I've already picked the other two favorites. Kansas City will be my upset.
There you go. Michiganetti, who you got in this one?
I'm going with the Bills Mafia. Go to Anchor Bar, get some buffalo wings, get some beef on whack. Niagara Falls, baby. Buffalo, Josh Allen. Let's go. Let's get it done.
This is a required monthly test of the emergency alert system. Had this been an actual emergency or dangerous situation, official messages and directions would have followed the alert tones. This test is brought to you by the Florida Division of Emergency Management, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and your local broadcast station or cable provider. This concludes the required monthly test.
Eddie, give it to us.
You know what's funny is my first Super Bowl, I remember, was at the Silverdome, and my mom took me to a party. It was the Bengals-Niners back in the day. And I remember seeing Joe Montana play at the Dome against my Lions. I'm not going to pick this because, I'm superstitious.
Oh,
right?
of course.
But I tell you, all the plans are in the making for Detroit to have a nice run here. It's at home. Ford Field broke the Dust Bowl record last weekend. Jameson Wilson and all the players have said they have never experienced anything like it. Lions fans are going crazy right now. They have the goods to win it. Now they just got to go out there and do it. And Baker Mayfield and Gardner Johnson need to shut up and just play the game and worry about that, not bulletin board material.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
There you go.
So that's it. It is there. It's there for the Lions taking. They got to seize the moment. Seize the day. Go Lions. Ford Field. Break some kneecaps.
Enjoy it, Michiganetti. Appreciate you giving a call. Again, one more time, thank you to all the love and the support. It really means a lot to me, and we'll be back on Monday. Afternoon Underdogs coming up this afternoon at 4 p.m. Y'all have a great weekend. Enjoy these divisional matchups.
Your home for the NFL. ESPN Northwest Florida.
The NFL playoffs continue this weekend. Saturday, it's the Houston Texans versus the Baltimore